So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We were just talking about how my first week at AP, I interviewed you guys. Might have been my first interview at this job. And I was like sitting out there and it was on Zoom and I was so excited. So this is a full circle moment.
Awesome. It's a wonderful thing to still be doing this on both sides.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's so rare. I think it's also crazy as a band who's evolved so much to have such a legacy and you have such loyal fans.
Yeah, we got really, really fortunate with that because, I mean, we definitely have taken some twists and turns along the way, and it's not like, we're not the same band we were when we started, but we've kind of had these different eras of new people coming through, but they all sort of seem to get more and more loyal, which is cool. It's great. You can't I'm not mad at that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It also seems, which also I think is not necessarily true of a lot of bands who've been around for multiple decades, like multi-generational, your fans.
Yeah.
I was looking at the YouTube comments of your new music videos because I love doing that. And there was definitely, coming from all ages.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our fan base, we've grown up together, and that sounds cheesy, but I think even from the fan perspective, people are like, you always just tell me I've been listening to you guys since high school. And I'm like, I feel old. But then I'm like, wait, you were in high school, but I graduated high school the year before you or the year after, you know what I mean? So it's I was a year ahead of you. So when you were 17, listening to our band, I was 18, but so it's we literally have grown up with a lot of these people, and now they have kids and bring their kids to the shows. And it's a whole thing. I always joke because there's always quite a few 10 and under kids at our shows, and we started doing Kid Pit at the show. We'd have a show where it's all the adults get on the edge and this is just for the kids.
I've never heard of that before.
I always joke, it's this is what in the industry we call job security, bringing your kids. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's cool to have that common ground with fans. That's we've grown up together, and we sort of matured together, and our tastes have changed and evolved together. So it works out.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of YouTube comments, and I was going to save this for the end, but there's one that stood out to me. And I think it was on All For You. This user, Mind Signal TV, said, it's funny because when I did my interview with Davey Havoc, I was like, I'm going to read a YouTube comment. He's like, don't do it. Don't. And he got people get scared. I don't do that.
No, it's
actually, they were all positive.
We were talking about this last night. It's kind of a weird thing. This is not the norm for us.
I mean, it's not the norm for anyone.
No.
People love to hate on the internet.
Yeah, it's people. It's like a hobby.
Yeah.
For people.
I honestly did not see any. This person said, I don't know what's been going on for the last few years. I feel like musicians I listen to have been releasing work that expresses exactly what I've been experiencing recently. 30 years old, going through a divorce. This song is exactly what I've been thinking. I'm so stunned. 20 years ago was Death Grip when I first heard the band. Atreyu is why I listen to rock and metal today. Thank you. And they said, probably will never get the chance to see a live show, but the music will live with me forever.
No way. We need to tell that person to come. I'll get you in free to whatever show you want to go to.
I know.
Let's change that last part.
There were a lot of people commenting on that saying yeah, no, we've grown up with them. They are feeling the same things we are.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is I think people put artists on a pedestal, you know what I mean? Which that's cool for some things, the idea of feeling larger than life to people is great. But the reality is we're the same humans that they are. We just have different jobs. It's we live the same fucking life. And I feel we've, especially more recently, we're a band that sort of just wears that on our sleeve. It's we're not good at writing songs about nothing. You know what I mean? So it's you can't just make up things to, this is a cool concept for a song that people like to listen to. It's it's just shit that we're going through, and it's not anything different than what everyone else goes through. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, there's so many like that, especially on that music video. But the lyrics for this new project they're heavy.
Yeah, there's a lot of very bluntly serious topics. I feel too, for me, it's funny because we all contribute as far as writing in the band, so it's not I'm the guy who writes all the lyrics or whatever. So we'll sit down, and it comes from a place where it's oh, I had this idea, or Dan will have this idea, and it usually only goes across the line if everyone's I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, oh yeah, like, what are you applying that to? And I'm like, well, this was this that happened. They're like, well, this was happened to me, and I felt the same way. We kind of come to that common ground. And if that's what gets it across the line to like actually make a song into it. But, there's a lot of stuff that's like more personal, like an exact specifically personal to me on this record than I've ever written before. So it's like without trying, and maybe there was just like some things that were overtly more important than ever before that just like kind of came out. But it is a very heavy record without noticing it till it was almost done, But I think that we always sort of have the silver lining to all that, it always brings it back to a positive.
It also felt very hopeful.
Yeah, I think that's by design. Like I don't want to be, I don't get me wrong. I have those songs and those bands I listen to when I am sad and I want to feel sad. But like, I think that the music we create, like, I think that if it brings you anger or makes you feel a certain way or makes you feel sad, like hopefully it brings you back to the better place, like, I don't know, that might sound corny, but that's sort of the angle.
I think that's true. And another interview that I did recently with Haley Williams, we were talking about that too. It's like anger is like kind of a superpower in certain ways when used properly.
Yeah. When when you can use it in a way to make people realize that it doesn't have to be the end game emotion. Yeah. I think people way too often sort of let anger or desperation or sadness, depression, whatever, be like the conquering emotion of their life. And it just ends up in such a bleak place. But it's like, you can use that to get back, like you have to sort of go through that to get, you got to go through dark to get back to light again,
Yeah. You can't have one without the other.
No.
But I also like hear that musically as well. Like your vocal range is so nuts on this album. It's so sick.
Thank you.
I mean, even that, like there's that dichotomy. There's moments where it feels like choral and like almost not religious, but like something there that's like larger. Yeah,
like we're definitely we're all fans of the church. We just call it the church moment. It's like like take it straight to church. And I think that, I don't know, like this is one of our things where like the sort of give a fuck button is broken in our band, where it's like, oh, that's just too ridiculous. Like, I don't think we care about that. It's just like, why don't we just go full tilt in this random direction for no reason in this song? I have friends that I write with, pretty often, and they're like, it's great because your ideas are always the ones that are like 110%. And like, so if we want those are, it's like, I don't know. We like to be extreme with things, but yeah. And I love that. Like, there's moments on the record, like the song, like Ego Death, where it's like an absolute just chaotic mess, and then takes you to like a Madonna, like a prayer moment out of nowhere. And you're so like, good. Why not?
Yeah, no, it's so good. And they're like so hooky too. It's just, I don't know. It's definitely like an on repeat moment. And also I'm just like curious, because I know that you guys have had so much range in all of the things you've done, and you're talking about all of these different ways that you approach things, and there's not necessarily like a consistent structure. Like, how did you approach this project? Like, did you go in with an idea of exactly what you wanted to do? I know you guys were traveling was part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first conversations, which we've never done this before. We've never like sat down and had the conversations of not only like, what do we want the album to be? It's usually very shoot from the hip. Like, we don't really discuss it. Everyone just gets in the studio and it's like, okay, this is what we sound like this time. For the first time, it was like, not only what does that record sound like, but it was like, what do we want the band to be? And it was like, we literally like had many discussions where we sat down and it was like, what are our strengths? Like, what are our superpowers and why? And it would like, someone would be like, I think this is our part of our DNA that's important. It's like, well, why? They'd be like, well, A, B, C, D. And it's like, well, okay, we agree on that. And it was sort of like dissecting what we are as a band and taking our favorite parts and then saying, cool, like lean into that as hard as possible. And like the parts that maybe don't excite us that much, that we've maybe experimented in, or, we have big singles that we're just kind of like, okay, it did good, but like, it doesn't excite me. It's like, maybe we get away from those elements, and figuring out the DNA of what it was supposed to be was cool. And then from there, it was just like, how do we be excited? I think we've been a band for 27 years, 28 years. And like, if it's not exciting and adventurous at this point, like we sort of can lose interest. We love being in our band. So it's like, okay, like we've realized like, it doesn't have to be hard or work or whatever. It can be all fun all the time. Like, we don't have to miss our families. We can have them be on the road and visit and do things and incorporate them into this sort of like orbit that we've created. So there's the same thing with writing, where it was like we were playing a show in Indonesia and our guitar player Dan's like, yo, like that flight's really long. We should go to Tokyo and like write some songs. I was like, what do you mean? And it was kind of like, why? And he's like, why not? Like, why can't we do that? And it's like, okay. So we just grabbed our producer, went to Tokyo for a week. My wife came, our bass player's wife came, and just sort of like wrote during the day and did Tokyo at night. And like, it was this overwhelming, just like abundance of, you know, good energy and like inspiration because it's fucking Tokyo, you know? And then we did the same thing. We went to San Juan Island, which is right off the coast of Washington. And it's the polar opposite, like in the woods, desolate, quiet, beautiful, like on the water. And like my aunt's friend has this great house that she just like let us come to for a week and write. So it's like just making it fun, you know, and we keep joking. We're like, where's the next spot? Like, is it Thailand? Like, are we going to Bali? Like, where are we going? You know? And so just keeping it interesting and not being monotonous and like, yep, we're going to a studio in LA again. And, you know, it just make it cool. Our life is such a crazy like gift, like that we get to do this, like what we can make it exactly how we want. And there's no like deviation financially or there's no anything. It's just like, we can do all these things that are cool. Why wouldn't we do them? You know, we're very much on the why not era of our band.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We're having a good time.
Seems like it. Yeah. When you were in Indonesia and that travel moment happened, like, is that when you were doing the Curse tour?
It was really weird. Like this whole process has been a long time because we had just done the Paranoia Sessions record, like the Reimagination record, and went to Tokyo, did that Tokyo trip to write. Funny because we filmed the Like a Stone video for that record in Tokyo while we were there writing this record. And then we came back from that and then sort of like built the rest of the year around the Curse touring. So I was like, okay, well, we're not releasing a record this year because we can't be focused on one thing and the other at the same time. So we just kind of took our time with that. But in doing so, it was like you had all that energy from the Curse and like sort of living in a time machine that also lent itself to writing a record, you know? And then like we sort of did the Curse thing and then wrote the record in between, you know, and it was nice to just let each of them sort of like ride themselves out and not have to like squeeze a bunch of things together.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, like looking at the last few things that you guys have done, like projects, I mean, with the EPs and like that was so conceptual. And I know that last time when we spoke about that, it was like all about Easter eggs and this like concept and a trilogy and going into all of the reworked stuff. I want to know about why you chose that Tom Petty song.
That's just like one of my all-time, like Tom Petty's my number one. And it was like, we came up with a couple like different ideas for covers. And once that album started having this sort of overarching like bit of like doom and gloom to it, that's very like somber, we were like, okay, we need to pick covers that match there. So Petty was great, especially like the arrangement that we sort of came up with. It was like, it made that dark song even darker. And then like the Audio Slave song too, is just like, and they were both awkwardly like, without trying, it was like, oh, this is also weird because both of these like heroes have just died and we're making these really somber versions of these songs, like sort of just fell into our laps, but they just felt right, you know? Yeah,
it's so interesting because I remember when I listened to that and I was like, Atreyu doing a Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And it worked so well.
Thank you. Yeah. I love that. I love that song. Like, again, like my dad, you know, I'm raised on Tom Petty and like, you know, Traveling Wilburys is like my top. So to get the opportunity to do something like that, you never, you know, 15 years ago, Brandon and Atreyu would never be like, I'm probably going to get the opportunity to do a Tom Petty cover someday. But again, we're sort of in our why not phase, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even that, it's like going from that where you're doing something that's like very important to you today. Then you go on this like time capsule tour. And I can tell that also has informed the new project.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds, there's a nostalgia element to it.
For sure. I think that was part of like, you know, like I said, like figuring out what are the important parts of the DNA. And I think a big part of what we realized why I think we had, to us at least, success in the first place is that we didn't sound like anybody. Like we had like a foot in punk and a foot in hardcore and a foot, you know, a hand in metal and whatever, you know, like it didn't make sense for one genre but it sort of made sense in all of them, luckily. And also sonically, our records didn't sound like anyone. Like, and back in the day, it was like, damn it, like our records don't sound as heavy or like as big as everyone, but it was sort of like a superpower.
Yeah.
Where like in the landscape, if our song came on, it automatically took your ear because it was like, this doesn't sound like everything else. So it was like, that definitely opened our eyes to having those conversations that I talked about and being like, okay, well, even sonically, like we need to make the opposite of what a modern like metalcore record is and just make a record that doesn't sound like anything now, again, to try to like grab those ears to just kind of set ourselves on our own path. And I'm not saying that like we didn't write a fucking prog record. We're not like System of a Down and like, you know, where it's like no one sounds like this, but I think in the genre, like we have our own lane.
You definitely have your own lane. Yeah. And I feel like you've had your own lane as like a listener, like throughout with each like different move. And this one really like, it does feel like that kind of original, it's going back to that.
Yeah.
But it also feels fresh.
For sure. I mean, like, it's hard to do that when you're like, we love these things we loved about our band 20 years ago, but how do we make it feel like it's 5 years from now, you know?
Right. Without overthinking it too, I'm sure.
For sure. Because that's also been one of our, like, rules. It's like, we're not a band that's like, oh, we fucking pined over this song for fucking 4 weeks. And it was like, if a song happens, great, it happens. If it doesn't, it usually doesn't. It's like, it wasn't meant to finish. There's like one song on the new record. The last song is the only song that we had that was like actually took a while, but it wasn't like we sat and it was like we worked on it and then a month later we had a aha moment and a puzzle piece fell in, and then when we went to finish the album, like the other aha moment happened and then the final, you know what I mean? But it has to like sort of fall out of the sky for us to like accept it.
I'm curious, like in terms of referencing, whether it's like subconscious or otherwise, 20 years ago, how you like balance the nostalgia. And it seems like you are also a band and a person, from what I understand, that like isn't interested in repeating.
No.
So how does that work for you?
I think that because it's funny because the repeat, like us wanting to always sort of shift and do new things, like I think it comes from not overthinking it. Like, because, I mean, as people, you just change and like your interests change and your influences change. And it's like just without thinking too hard about it and letting that sort of come out. And like, it's funny because I say this, I'm totally not like the universe handed me this. I'm not like, I love that, but I'm not like but I think that's how our band is. Like, I think it truly needs to sort of fall out of the sky and land in our lap and go, that's what it's supposed to be. And I do love, like, it's funny because this day and age, like, you know, for us, guitars is a huge thing. Like guitar solos and riffs is like a huge thing. And that sort of like took a back seat for a minute. And it's funny to be like, we need guitars back. And as weird as it sounds, even in like metal and like rock right now, like it's starting to come back again, but there's been a lack of guitars. Like the guitar riff was replaced by this sort of like programmed drum loop verse, you know, and it was like, oh, let's do that again. So like doing something that to us is old ended up sounding fresh again because no one's doing it, right? Like, you know, it's like things like that just sort of ended up sounding fresh were sort of just the revisits, you know? Like, you know, but
this is like a big question, and if somebody asked me this, I don't know if I would be able to answer it, but like for example, we just talked about how now you're embracing this love of Tom Petty, whereas you may not have 20 years ago. Like, what are other ways do you feel like you have changed as a musician and how you approach your music, or also how you listen to music?
I feel like I went through phases of, like, when we first started the band, this is just me personally, and I think that it was me listening more to, like, especially like someone like Dan in our band, or Porter, that like doesn't really exist in the modern like music culture. Like Dan literally listens to like reggae and like 50s and 60s jazz. Like he doesn't, and like 80s like hair bands. Like he doesn't, if you were like, hey, like, how is that new Bad Omen song? He's like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Like, not just, you know, like he just doesn't, it's not in his bubble. But in my head, when we first started the band, it was like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So it's just like 9 parts in a song and this is what we do. And then you learn how to write songs and learn how to like, kind of like get better at your craft. And my brain was always like, well, now it has to be this. Like, now that we know how, why would we do these moves that don't make sense? Like, it's got to be this formula. We learned the formula. And some of the guys in the band too, it's always like, fuck the formula. Like, you know, so it was like that influence now came back around where like a song like All For You that is like the big radio single has like a random guitar tapping part before the second chorus. And it was like, why? It was like, it just sounded cool and it sounded right. So it's like going back and sort of unlearning a bit and realizing that there's no sort of rule book. And like that, I think that's been the biggest change for me personally, of just like, you don't have to, you learn all these things, but they're not all correct. Like you can sort of like take the pieces you want. Like we've worked with so many producers and great people that we've learned a lot from, but there's also a lot of things that we've like learned not to do along the way from these different people. So it's like realizing that it's just all sort of a process. This record, I think, is very much like unlearning a bit just to like, and going just straight on feeling, not like, well, this is how a song's supposed to sound, you know, like who the fuck knows how a song's supposed to sound? That's not a rule, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think you can hear Tokyo in the album?
It's weird because like I thought going to these places, I was like, we're going to write these songs that are going to sound like Tokyo and sound like Salmon Island. And like, it was the opposite. Like we had Wait My Love on the record is like the ballad. We wrote that in Tokyo. That is not a ballad city, you know? But like, and then we wrote like some of the heaviest stuff like on the island. I just think that it wasn't so much like direct influence of like sound. It was just sort of like put our brains in a good place to create. And I think that it was sort of just like the waterfall of ideas and like the fact that there was so much stimulation that it was just like, there's something to write about and think about. Like every morning we all woke up and was like, you know, Sam like, okay, you tell me yours first. I have one too. Like, you have an idea? Like, it wasn't, usually it's like, oh, a few of us have a thing, but it was like every day someone had something, or like someone had like an idea or a thought or whatever. And I think it was just sort of like, you know, you like charge the fucking neutrons, you know, like, and our brains are just firing.
I feel like you definitely have to have that quality that you guys have of like not overthinking to be able to deal with that. Because
for sure,
overstimulation is, I don't know if I could sit down and write a song.
Yeah, it's tough. But that's why we sort of like, we even we're there to write, but we took the writing thing like very easy. Like we'd write, wake up in the morning, have some coffee, breakfast, whatever, write till like 2 or 3. And then it'd be like, hey, like we're doing Mario Kart, go-karting around the city in an hour. We got to go. Like it was almost like the other part was equally as important because they sort of pat each other's backs, you know? But yeah, it was cool. Just trying to, like I said, just keep it fun.
The dynamic between all of you, it seems like it's pretty healthy and creative. That's also rare.
It is. I think that through the years, we've sort of been through a series of, you know, ups and downs and changes and things like that, where we really had to. I mean, the first one I think is when we went on hiatus, and it was like, that was the first time our band separated for years, and I didn't see people or talk to them for 6 months at a time. I think I might have talked to Dan. Dan would be the guy that would call every like 3-4 months. And like by 6 months, he was already like, hey, you want to get back in? I'm like, I have another band. I'm touring. Like, so that was the first one where we kind of like, when we came back together, it was like, cool, we have a new appreciation because this has been gone. And then with like the switch with Alex not being in the band anymore, that sort of recreated like the bond of like, well, now it's just us. Like, okay. And like, how do we make sure that this is even better than it was, and how do we make sure that we're good within the band, and like we don't want to go through something like this again. So how do we make sure that we're all good and like mentally good and on the same page? And it's a rare thing where like me personally, like I go through these phases, and it's every like year or so where our band will do something that I'm like, wow, like I continue to kind of get in these moments of awe of like the dudes in the band, and like a heightened level of respect for the dudes in the band, because we all are sort of chasing this thing that's like, we just want to be better and better and better and better. And like, everyone really cares and like tries to do the things that we do. And it's like, there's sort of a mutual, like heightened respect and just like love for each other, because I think we all sort of continue to like impress each other. It's like, if you're in a relationship, like my wife, we've been married for almost 20 years. And like my wife still does things that I'm just like, wow, like, you know what I mean? And I think that's important for like a healthy relationship, for someone to sort of keep you in awe. And like, that's very much intact in the band. And I mean, our drummer too, like bringing him in a handful of years back, he's just like one of the best energies to have are in the room, and that made things even better. And I think our family lives sort of, like I said before, all kind of entwined, and like my wife and kids will come out, and like the guys it's not like my wife and kids are out and we're doing our thing or whatever. It's like one of them is watching a movie with Travis, and like, you know, our guitar tech's taking my other kid to stage to do, it's like, it's just one big thing, you know, and it's made it so that I think we're just on like a level where we are all on the same page and just like enjoying, like sharing the same joy and like sharing the same like wants for what we want the band to be. And that's important. It's rare. I think a lot of people are just in a band and everyone has a different idea of what that's supposed to be. And that ends up with a lot of conflict. We're fortunate to be on the other end of the spectrum, you know?
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are really focused on having a good time too. So.
For sure. And it's like, there's so much shit we haven't done yet. You know what I mean? Like we've been a band for so long, and it's like, would I have loved to just been astronomically like huge already? Of course. But if that was a thing, we wouldn't have, I think, the drive we have, because there's so much that we want to do. And it's like, how do we get there? Like we keep climbing these mountains, and it's like, ooh, look, there's a bigger mountain. Like let's do that. Well, we haven't done this yet. And I think that is rare also in a band that's been around for as long as we have, that like there's still shit to check off the list, you know?
What's on the list?
I mean, everything I think of any band wants. It's like, for one, there's places we haven't been. Like there's countries we haven't toured. We just went to South America for the first time last year.
What?
Yeah. Don't know how that happened.
I feel like you guys would have a massive...
It went great.
Yeah.
And it was like, why did this take fucking 20 years or long? It was fucking crazy. But it also, I think that came from a lot of time. Like, you know, we've been managing ourselves for a couple of years now too.
Wow.
And there's no filter now. So everything that comes through the door comes straight to us. And now there's no like, oh, that's not going to be good financially for me, so I'm not even going to tell the band. You know, like there's things that exists, and you know, I think there's reasons like that why we wouldn't go. So I mean, we just did that. I mean, I don't want to play arenas. I want to headline arenas. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to just play festivals. I want to headline festivals.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just so many things like that I don't even say we want to happen. Like we're just going to make happen. You know, like. And I think we've also realized too, it's like the secret is just don't stop.
Yeah.
Like we just keep on fucking ripping, and it's like there's no end in sight. It's like we're putting out an album and we're already thinking about the next album. And it's like, what's the next thing? Like where can we go and just keep things rolling and forward motion, because we do believe, and like there's a confidence there. I don't think it's cocky at all, but like I think our band is great. I think what we do is great. I think we're confident in what we do. And I think that if you come to a show and watch our band, like anyone would at least be like, cool, they do what they do well.
That does not sound cocky. That sounds I think you're underselling.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think we're confident in what we do. So it's like, again, it's like we're in the why not phase. Like, why not? Why not us?
Yeah.
There's no reason it shouldn't be us. So it's like we're just making our way, you know, through it all.
That's so crazy. You guys are self-managed.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, that does sound awesome. And it's like going to new places. Yeah, I mean, Elvis never left the U.S.
It's wild. And that was, and why?
Yeah, because the manager.
His manager told him that there was never a demand, and because he did not want to fly to other countries.
So crazy.
The amount that we have accomplished in the last 2 years managing ourselves has been eye-opening and very validating.
Ooh, I have goosebumps.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. You just got to take the power back, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to have such an immense thing of like being in a band and everything that this entails and not have control of it, and it's hard to trust put it in the hands of someone else, you know, like.
I mean, it's so impressive. Like, how do you manage all of that? You also seem very positive, and you guys, obviously you have to have a level of confidence to be doing it this long, whether you're big or whatever. Like, how do you maintain that?
Freaking hope, man. I just want it. We want it. You know, like, I think that I'm very much like, I'm not a subtle human. There's nothing, you know, I'm a bull in a china shop. I'm loud. I'm not afraid to talk to people or ask people for things or ask advice, go do whatever. And it's like, I think we're just applying that to what we do. And it's weird how much things get done when someone is just like, hey, like, oh no, you don't send an email to him and him and him. Like, I'm just going to go ask the end person what they think about this and whatever. Like, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of things that are happening for the band right now is because I just knew someone. Yeah. And made a phone call or went and had a lunch and talked to the direct line, you know, like our record label didn't know we made a record till it was done.
What?
Yeah, we called their label and said, hey, we're going to come to New York in the next couple of weeks and play the album. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the record's done. They're like, what record? Like, when you were writing a record, we're like, it's done. It's mixed. But you know what I mean? It's like, just take it into your own hands. Like, what are we waiting for?
Where'd you guys record it?
I mean, we finished everything here in LA at our producer has a studio, but we did everything here, like drums in his living room and, you know, just like kept it old school, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm hearing more and more people like doing that.
Our producer, I want to say like Marvin Gaye or something used to own the house that he lives in. And like the garage was sort of also already set up into like sort of like a vocal studio.
So cool.
So like the garage is like the studio space, and it's and like his girlfriend literally like wires studios for a living. Like she's brilliant. So like she like his studio's wired like, you know, like Shangri-La or some crazy like, you know, studio, and it was like he just knows what to do with the pieces, you know, like you just gotta know what you're doing. Like some of the best drum rooms I've ever tracked in are in living rooms. His living room sounded insane. Like we did Lead Sales when John Feldman lived in Bel Air, but we did the drums in his living room, and he had a big, cool room, and it sounded great. It's like, this sounds better than any studio I've ever been in.
Going back to the confidence too, I'm curious, like when you were growing up, like what was the first time that you saw or heard somebody making music and you were like, I want to do that. I'm going to do that. I can do that.
I think it was growing up in like the hardcore scene in Orange County. For us, it was such like there's like lore about the Orange County hardcore scene that like you would never understand unless you witnessed it. And like the sort of like Chain Reaction, Showcase Theater, Coos Cafe show experience was just so over the top and absolutely just chaotic and like borderline violent and just like crazy. Like Showcase Theater is a venue in Corona, and I think it holds 500 people. Most of the shows that happened there had at least 800 people at them. Like there's like an AFI show we went to back in the day where there was like 1,000 people in the room, and the fire marshal came, and they were like, we'll play 2 shows. So like half of us stood outside in the rain while they played a set, and they emptied it out. We went back in. And it was like, there was still so many, cool. Like there's like still so many people in the room that like you would like stage dive and then just get down when you felt like it was over. Cause there was just so many people that you were just like on people. You know what I mean? Like it was wild. Like all the like, you know, kind of like hardcore band, Adamantium and Death by Stereo, like Throwdown, and, you know, bands Disembodied would come through, and like Ink and Dagger, and like all these like bands would come through, and like the shows were just fucking crazy. Like I think we had our own thing where it was like, oh, you play CBs when you go to New York, you know what I mean? And like, oh, like it was like, and we're playing, Orange County shows are crazy, you know? It was always like this wild thing. And going to those shows, it was like, I want that. I want all these people to lose their fucking mind to me doing our songs. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was a cool, like motivating scene to come up in, because it was like, it was just cranked the fuck up.
What was the first show you went to?
First show I ever went to, like punk or hardcore wise, was the Voodoo Glow Skulls and this punk band called Backside. And they played at a skate shop in like the Inland Empire. And I begged my mom to let my brother take me. And it was like 120 degrees and just like on concrete watching a ska band play. It was fucking awesome.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I saw a hardcore show too. And it was like under a bridge.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like the coolest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Like I need to be at these like every day, all day.
For sure. Like that was, I mean, I'm referencing Ink and Dagger. I don't know if you're familiar with Ink and Dagger.
I fucking love Ink and Dagger.
They're one of my all-time favorites.
Me too.
Like, and it was like friends of ours told us about Ink and Dagger, and it was like, they're like these vampires from Philly, and like you just, I'm not telling you, you just have to go to the show. And we went to a show at Coos Cafe. It's literally like was a coffee shop, and the room was not much bigger than this, and they like had their own lights with like a guy like, you know, turning on light switches, you know, and they like paint their faces and spit blood everywhere, and everyone in the crowd is like spitting blood everywhere, and it was like, I'm fucking horrified. I'm 14, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it's like, what is happening? And it was like, fell in love with like, ooh, like theatrics. Like, this is cool. Like I knew that they weren't, but up until I was probably 17, it was like, these dudes are vampires.
Yeah.
Like this is a vampire band. Yeah. It's fucking so cool. Like, and even now, like they're still doing shows with Jeff from Thursday, and like every time they do it, I can't fucking go, and it makes me so sad.
I know they did it. It was like Halloween or something this year, and I also couldn't go, and I was really bummed.
Yeah. I was leaving right after like 2 days after Halloween to go to Europe, and I was talking to my wife, and she even gave the pass. She's like, you can go. And I'm like, I can't go. It's Halloween. I have kids. Like, Dad can't miss Halloween to go see Ink and Dagger. Like, I can't do kid things.
Take the kids.
I know, right? And so it was like, I missed it again, but like, definitely, you know, had to have my friends go get merch for me.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I also did that.
Yeah.
So then when was the first show that you played?
I mean, we started as a punk band called Retribution. It was me and Dan and Alex, and then a friend of ours, Kyle, who played bass. And we were really young. And somehow we're playing shows locally. We were playing we'd play with the Addicts and Total Chaos and the Casualties and
so sick.
And we were from Yorba Linda, which is upper middle class town. So immediately everyone was like, fuck these rich kids. And we're like, we're not rich. I swear. I'm just I would just live here. My parents do okay. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my mom. So that was the thing. And then I think, so we started doing that kind of thing. And then when Atreyu started, we just I think we hated the punk scene because of that. We're like, this sucks. No one ever is going to fucking give us a chance here. And we were doing good things and big things, but it was I don't even know if this is our spot, we're not, especially when you're 14, you're I'm not as punk as these dudes. You know what I mean? This is not, I'm not partying in the streets, stealing liquor and shit. I don't know. It was the punk dudes we grew up with were just fucking crusty,
Yeah.
So I think the hardcore scene, especially going to those shows, was that's kind of what we want to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it wasn't because there was a higher ceiling. It was just that's more the energy we're going for.
Yeah.
And I think sort of our first sort of shows were at our high school. Yeah. And our high school used to let bands play in the quad in the middle of at lunchtime. And
wow.
They had a show called Creative Impulse where you can play a show to the school. But it was just stuff like that. And then getting on local shows, we'd open for Bane or Shai Hulud or fucking whoever came through.
So cool.
Disembodied, whoever came through, so it started with that. If we were lucky, I remember we went to Vegas once and did a show with Poison the Well, and it was we're going to Vegas, holy shit. We don't have money for a hotel room, but we're going to play a show with Poison the Well, so that was kind of where it all started.
So also speaking of hardcore and the new album, back to your vocal range, you're doing clean and unclean vocals.
Yeah.
And it sounds so good.
Thank you.
What was the process of that?
Another back to the DNA thing. Mm-hmm. A big part of our band is 2 singers.
Yeah.
So when me and Porter sort of took over the roles, it was okay, obviously it's I'll do the clean stuff, you do the heavy stuff, because his voice is unlike anything I've ever heard in my life. And at first it was you do that, so I'm just not gonna, I won't. You're fine. It's if you're not gonna I don't need to touch that. But then it was it's not a chip on my shoulder, but at the same time, as you can imagine, when I take the lead of the frontman and our old singer's gone, I mean, people are fucking crazy. The shit that people say is fucking insane. And at the beginning, it was beating me the fuck up. And it was I had this teenage fucking attitude of well, I gotta prove myself. And really it's fuck you people. what do you mean? You don't mean anything to me. I don't know who you are. And you're probably just some dickhead that's unhappy with your life. So you're talking shit on me for some reason. Yeah. But there was this thing where it was well, no, if I'm gonna be the singer of the band, let me try and just go as far as I can go. So just really started focusing on it, really on Beautiful Dark of Life. And then sort of caught my stride in the record cycle for that record. And even with Porter being hey, that sounds good. He would hear me do things live. He'd be you're onto something. So it's getting the stamp of approval from a true professional. Yeah. So just really wanted to up the ante and kind of find my voice. And for a long time, it was me going oh, who are singers that I love? From back in the day, it's I love Anders from In Flames has a cool voice, but I was I don't know how to sound like that. And it'd be fuck, Noah from Bad Omens sounds so brutal. How do I do that? And it was no, don't try to sound like any of these people. Just use the sound that comes out of your mouth, and that's how you sound, and just make that as good as you can do it. So once I kind of got over the hump of just trying to be myself, which is again a weird teenage kind of thought process, not a 42-year-old man thought process. It was it felt good again, and then regain the confidence to go in the studio and do it. And it wasn't I'm doing this part, you're doing that part. For me and Porter, it was just kind of you sound better on this verse. I think you should do this, and I'll go over here. And we have a thing, and he's an animal. So we had a term in the studio. I'd ask if I could borrow some grit, knock on your neighbor's door and borrow some grit. I'd do a take and be it's not quite there. Can I borrow some grit? And he would go sing under it just to give me some, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's good. I mean, our band is, again, it goes back to just the trust thing. We're very good at, we all sort of, it's very important to build each other up and have everyone be in a healthy mindset when you're writing or whatever, because then you feel you have worth, and feel like the people that are surrounding you believe in you, and that's going to make you do even better. So I had that. So that was a big part of expanding what I was doing.
Have you played any of the new songs live yet?
Just Dead. We did Dead on the whole Curse tour last year because it was out for most of it, and that was another first for us. Usually it's you play a new song and it's okay, they'll go get a beer, you know, whatever.
Totally.
And it was like, this is not new song energy at this show at all. Like, and I get it. It's like a fast song, and it's like there's circle pits and sing-alongs and like mosh parts built into it, you know, pretty clearly.
Yeah.
But it's like, it was awesome. So I'm very excited to play more.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a moment on one of the singles too where Porter sings clean vocals.
Yeah, he does. He does it on a couple of the songs. One of the second song on the record, "Break Me," he like sings the whole second verse. And it was one of the things we were in Tokyo, and we were writing the song, and then me and my wife went to Tokyo Disney, and they like, you know, had finished that verse, and he's like, "Oh, I just laid it down just so we had it." And it was like, "You're singing that verse. It sounds cool. Like, why don't you ever sing?" I think he thinks the same thing I think about him, where it's like, I'm not going to sing. You're this, like, if you can do it. I'm like, no, your voice sounds great. Like, put it on the fucking record. So yeah, it was the same thing with him, like with not only being like the screamer guy. It's like, let him sing some things too. And he on Dead too, I think he like has a couple of parts where it's like, and everyone's like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "It's Porter." I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I think maybe it was that one where people were in the YouTube comments.
Yeah, like, who's the guest on this one?
Who is that?
Yeah.
That's so cool. So you guys are going to do that live too?
Yeah, we'll do everyone. It's all hands on deck live. Like Dan does all the harmonies and stuff live. Our drummer Kyle does harmonies live too. We even got Travis on the record. It's him just saying a ridiculous line, but forever he had this thing where he'd always go, "Cool motherfucker, say like and like into like anything that deserves to be there." And we've tried to get it on the last 2 records, but it just didn't fit. And we made him do it. So we have a joke that he's gonna have like a Bob Barker mic that comes out of the stage just for that one part and then goes back
so
in.
Sick. I love that. So which song are you most excited to play live?
I'm really looking forward to Ego Death, just because it's like 2.5 minutes of what the fuck. And I think we have a lot of songs that are built for live. Like Break Me is like one of those. Children of Light is like, you know, built out of the desire for like a festival song, you know. I think there's great singing moment. Like I think All For You is going to be a big like sing-along song. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for a lot of them. It sucks because this day and age, you usually only get the opportunity to play like a handful of songs, you know.
Yeah.
But I keep kind of convincing the band to break that rule and just like, I know this is the least streamed song on the record, but like, let's just throw it in the set anyways. Like, let's just kind of did it. When we did Baptize, we kind of did that where we were playing like the 3 or 4 songs, and then we put like 4 other songs in a hat and literally added like someone would pick the song out of the hat every night. And so we would like kind of rotate these songs and get to play more of the record without having to like build them all into the set. So maybe we'll do something like that again. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to force people out of their streaming habits.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, if you play the song live and you present it in that atmosphere, like it will probably gain traction on the other side.
Totally.
And people are like, "Ooh, that was cool. Like I want to listen to that one from the set," you know?
Yeah.
So,
but
you know.
People are listening to vinyl these days.
I know.
Can't skip songs.
No. And that I think that's slowly creeping back. Like you're never going to regain the sort of attention span that people had, you know, in the 90s or before. But like it's creeping back where people are appreciating like bodies of work and are interested in like the whole thing.
That's like, I feel like more and more these days, that's how I have to listen to music because I get like fatigue from streaming services and like overwhelm when I'm like, I don't know what to listen to. There's too many options.
It's too much. I don't know what to pick. Yeah. Like it's great to like put on a record and just listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like my daughter's, my youngest daughter's 7 and she always, you know, she would always just like go grab my vinyl and just want to like take it out and look at the art and like whatever. And it was like, so we got our little record player for Christmas and like, we'll literally find her in her room and it's like, you know, she's got like a Benson Boone record and like the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack record and like, you know, a couple random things, but she'll just like put on a record and like dance in her room and listen to the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's great because like, oh, you're 7, like you are instant grat, like that is your life. That's all you know. So to actually like sit and do that, like imagine if people read books like to listen to music.
I know.
Just like page 2, flip over to page 104. Like what the fuck does it matter? Like, it makes no sense.
I know.
You know, like just apply that thought to music. Listen to the whole thing. Yeah.
Because I also remember when we talked about the EPs and the trilogy, it was like kind of feeding into the drip feed mentality. Yeah, so that just reminded me of that. But I think everybody should give their kids a record player.
Yeah.
I love that.
Introducing physical music to your kid's life is a weird, like kind of crucial, life-changing thing. It's just a moment to slow down. Kids are, I'm even as an adult, I'm very fast-paced. My brain is just ping-ponging at all times, but like, if you can give kids a moment to actually just slow the fuck down and focus on something or not, lay in your room and fucking listen to a record, you know, like you don't have to have something to do at all times. Like my daughter loves to be like, "Dad, what can I do?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" You know, like what do you fucking tons of options, whatever you want to do. It's like, you don't need me to tell you what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, like go put on a record, go play outside, do whatever. Like, what am I going to do outside? Go out there and find something. There's a hose, you know, like the other day we had a fucking sleepover and my daughter and her friend played. We had this big cardboard box without a couch. They played in this cardboard box and they built a bus for 3 hours. It was a box. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's how it should be done.
Yeah, that's the shit we did when we were kids. You know? It's great.
I know. Just like have a stick, just play with it.
Play with the stick, go sharpen it and fucking poke the ground.
What are you listening to?
Lately, too much of our record. I'm very guilty of that. Like I sort of always just write music that I want to hear.
Yeah.
So I will proudly say I'm a fan of our band. I know a lot of people are like, I can't listen to my own record. Like it's like, no, I wanted to hear that song. I love, it's funny because he's my neighbor and one of my best friends, but 0936, Matt, the singer, lives down the street from me, and I love his band. They're like, it's sort of this like modern metalcore thing, but with hip hop, and like he's one of the cooler rappers I've ever heard. And like, I don't know, I just love what he does. I still like, we dug into like a lot of older music when we were writing the record, kind of like reignited a lot of like older records for me. We actually gave ourselves a 10-year rule. Like while we were writing, we couldn't listen to music that wasn't at least 10 years old, just so that we sort of didn't have a lot of modern influence. Yeah. So that it didn't sound like what was happening right now. And dug into and fell in love with like In Flames Colony and like, you know, like old Hatebreed records and like stuff like that.
Definitely hear that on your...
Yeah, like just like that shit that's like soil work. And, you know, even like older like punk bands, like I love this band, The Joy Killer. It was like Jack Grisham's other band, and like no one fucking knows who they are, but they put out like 3 records and they're so good. And like I fell in love with those records again, and like still they're like in the mix, you know. A huge record for me when we were growing up and like I was learning how to sing was Incubus, Make Yourself, and then Morning View. As a singer too, it was like, well, let me go back to those, and like that's what made me sing in the first place. And that's what made me like learn how to sing. Like Brandon Boyd straight up taught me how to sing. Never met the dude, but he taught me how to sing. All those things that I sort of dug back into in the last like year or so strangely stayed, you know, like back in my kind of mix, you know.
I like the idea of going back and listening to the things that like made you want to do it.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like it's cool. Like it makes you feel young again, or I don't know, like there's just feelings. Like Saves the Day is a huge band that I loved growing up. Like been like crushing Stay What You Are like a lot. Yeah. You know, and it's just like makes you feel great, you know? Like it's like, this is fucking awesome. Yeah. And to be honest, it's so good still. Like it's so many of those records just still play. Like they still stand up to everything that's happening right now. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a testament to a good record. Is the timelessness thing. For sure. Which I feel like you guys like doing all of this kind of not circular, but like whatever it is you're doing, it feels like it plays into that as well. For sure. It's like a bit, it's like, I feel like it's weird because it's nostalgic, but we're like, you want to lean into the nostalgia because it's like fruitful for the band. And it's like, and I've accepted the idea of really celebrating our history. Yeah. Then like, you know what I mean? Because like you're going, and like I said, it's like, I think certain records sound like shit. And like there's certain songs where I'm like, but it's like, no, but it all got us here. So like celebrate the whole thing. So there's a good thing of like leaning on that. But at the same time, like we're lucky enough, like I feel like we're in the same sort of like trajectory as like a Papa Roach, where Papa Roach has gone down these windy roads and changed and done all these things, but they're still such a relevant band with the history. It's like, people still fuck with Last Resort like they did when it came out, more so now. Yeah. But it's like people also love their new single. Like we're in that weird thing where it's like, oh, we still get played on the radio and people still listen to our music and buy our records and like come to our shows. But like there's also the history. So somehow trying to like accept it all, you know? Yeah. I mean, I think so many bands who like came up around your era too, like I hear very mixed things about how people feel about nostalgia. Like some people are like infuriates them. Yeah. And then others are like totally leaning into it. They're only leaning on it. Yeah. You know, but I love that that you guys were working on the new album while doing the anniversary tour is like exactly like I feel like is the sweet spot. Yeah, like that sort of happened by chance, but it put us in the right place that we were supposed to be to like, you know what I mean? It all lined up the way it was supposed to. Yeah. At first I was like, fuck man, now we gotta do this fucking tour and like now we can't put out our album forever and we sitting on these songs, and it was like, no, that's how it was supposed to pan out, you know? Yeah, I definitely feel like it, just the way that it all sounds too, it's like a good appetizer for what's about to happen. Exactly.
How are you going to celebrate your album coming out?
We're going to be on tour. We're going to be celebrating the best way we know how. So yeah, we're going to be on tour. I think we're in like somewhere really random with nothing glamorous to celebrate, but I'm sure we'll have some drinks and maybe go to a nice dinner. But
that's nice.
Just want to play the songs. And it's funny because it's like the real exciting part. I mean, creating the art is great. And then the after effect is just sort of a bonus or not, for better or worse. It's like we make what we make, and then any sort of after effect is just sort of the product of that. But it is fun to see it when it's no longer yours anymore. Like, I'm not the first person to say that, but there's something really cool to like letting go. Like you're sort of like relinquishing power of the record, and like now it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. It has nothing to do with us anymore, almost, and that's sort of a fun part too, like seeing what that journey is for this thing we created. It's like you birth a child and it moves out of your house, and you're like, okay, go do what you're going to do, don't do drugs.
Well, it seems like you're on a good trajectory based on how everybody's responding to the music. So
yeah, we're excited. It's always, you get a little bit of that, like you're waiting for the bottom to drop out, Yeah. You're like, someone say something,
I know. Well, and I don't know if you guys read comments or not, but it sounds like you may be somebody who doesn't.
I go in and out I only like, if someone with me, my new move is great because I'm also like, I'm aware that I'm not your typical lead singer type, I'm 6'3" and I'm a big motherfucker, and like there's nothing skinny and pretty, like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not your typical lead singer. And the fun thing, I would say, people are fucking crazy. Like I said earlier, people will comment on like that I'm bald or that I'm like my weight or something. And my new favorite thing is from my personal account. It's just a couple words is, that's your move? Because it's like, that really? Like, your mom's proud of this one? Like,
oh my God.
You're an adult and you came on the internet and commented about another adult's appearance? Like,
yeah.
Fuck
people
you.
People are unwell.
They are unwell, yeah. But you know what? It's all part of the game. Like,
it's such a good move.
Yeah. I only do it to those. I'm like, if you're going to attack me personally, I'm going to make you feel like a piece of shit. Just for a second. Just for a second.
Do you like touring?
I love touring. Yeah, it's tiring, and like I hate being away from my kids and my wife. But like I said before, it's like we try not to go more than a few weeks in most cases without visiting and doing that thing. But like I love it. I love playing shows, and there's a void if we don't tour. Like we all have different, like we all love touring. The extent of it varies within the band. It's like some dudes can go forever. Some dudes are like, I would love to, 6 weeks at a time is great. And then, if we can have at least a few weeks in between, that's awesome. Like we did the Curse tour, and it was essentially 3 months in a row internationally. And it was like, other than that, it was a pretty mellow year. Like it was like Australia was 2 weeks and South America was 2 weeks. Like, we can do 3 months in a row. By the end, we were like, okay, we're all hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
But we enjoy it. We just we like to travel. Dan already has every speakeasy in every town that he can find logged in his notes, and the restaurants that are available to go for the days off, and like we just like the whole thing. It's like the shows are great, hanging out with our friends is great, and like just like experiencing what we're lucky enough to do is great.
I love that attitude. I like it. Really is so rare.
Yeah, I don't understand what the fuck people are complaining about. So many bands complain, and I'm just like, God, guys, like you can go work at a bank, and your suit will be uncomfortable, and like your boss will probably be a dick. Or you can be in a fucking band.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. I'm not saying it's not work and it's exhausting, but it's like, this is fucking cool as shit. Like, we get to get in a room, make stupid jokes, be our idiot selves, create art, and someone actually cares enough about it that we get to go play it to them and make enough money to live a comfortable life. Like, what is the fucking problem? And it's funny because we're always like, whenever I hear bands like complaining, I'm like, cool, get out of the way then.
Yeah,
there's enough of us. There's enough of us. If you don't like this, like just move out of the way. Like you're taking our slot. Like, you know what I mean? Like we'll take your slot on the festival. We'll take your slot on the charts. Like it's like just
there you go.
This is great. This is a wonderful thing we get to do.
Are you guys coming to New York on your tour?
We're doing Jersey, We're doing Asbury Park on this one.
That's fun.
Yeah, not like New York proper. I think maybe at the end of the year.
Okay, I'll have to come out to Asbury when you guys are there.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It's a headline show too, so we actually get to play like a full show.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I'll be there.
That'd be sick. I don't know if you noticed either. I don't think you did it on purpose. I would assume you didn't, but your obituary shirt is in The End Is Not the End colorway. Very on brand.
I didn't, but that's so true.
Our only record is black and orange, and I do appreciate it, whether you tried it or not.
This is God's work.
Mm-hmm. Things just fall out of the sky sometimes, you know?
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was awesome.